I pity the fool that doesn't check out these miniatures.
Spiky Bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Baer from SpikyBits.com, and we're looking at more dope hobby miniatures today. So we've got a group of figures from Hardcore Miniatures. I think they're called Jungle Warriors collectively, but they all have different names. And I'm sure once you see them, you'll be like, oh, I know what that might supposed to be somewhat. I kind of like these, first of all. So I'm glad they sent these over to us to showcase and promote for them. It's the first thing we've actually gotten our hands on. Although we've been watching them for a while, they've been on the scene for a little relatively brief amount of time. But the amount of releases they've put out is really cool, and I like how they put their own take on a lot of fantasy tropes and a lot of pop culture stuff out there, and kind of work it all together and kind of make it their own, which is what the hobby is all about. We want our stuff to look a certain way, and maybe this resonates for a lot of you out there. And I think for me, I can definitely appreciate it. If you're like, oh, I got this one miniature I'd really like to see for this army, or he could be my commander or something like that. And I think that's part of the hobby, is the creative side, as well as actually putting the miniatures together and kind of painting them up yourself. So we're gonna jump over to Hardcore Miniatures website, because I haven't showed you their stuff yet at all here on the channel. You've probably seen them featured on the site a little bit, because I do like their miniatures, and I think when they have new releases, it's worth talking about. And of course, they post a lot of their stuff over in the Spiky Bits Hobbies Facebook group as well. So make sure you join that group so you can be up in the nose on all the latest hobby happenings as well. So here's their website. It's just hardcoreminiatures.com. It's a pretty well designed and laid out site. It resizes. It has translations for Russian and English as well. These will obviously ship out of Russia themselves. It takes about 2 weeks to get them in, I want to say, give or take. With the current crisis going on and things, it's really hard to say. I've had packages I've been waiting on for 2 months coming out of Europe. So who really knows? But the fact of the matter is, stuff is kind of moving, albeit at a little bit of a slower rate, I suppose. And then there is a note about the current crisis on their main page, which you can flip back to right here. But this is their store. We can kind of go through a lot of their categories. There's a lot more miniatures in here, but we're not going to really talk about that today. Today we're talking about the Jungle Warriors, which also right here you can see their air quotes sold out, and they are sold out right now on their website. They hit me up. They said they're getting more in. They're having more cast up. They did the initial run, and now they're done. So chances are, when you see this video, they will be in stock, because we're going to try to coordinate that a little better. And not send a bunch of people over here when they can't get what we're showing them. So either way, so you can go over to here. It's all of the new Jungle Warriors are $10. I don't think they have a bundle right now. They did have a pre-order bundle when they were first available. Don't worry about that. There might be a bundle on here. I can't really say for sure quite yet, but here's what it looks like when you kind of zoom in on the miniature or the miniature page itself. Here's Mr. Mohawk. He's my favorite. He's pretty cool looking, but something that I wanted to talk about more, and I'll show you the size and all this, we're going to put them together, is one thing I can appreciate definitely when it comes to miniatures, the devil's in the details. Sometimes stuff can be really hard to put together, and you really hate spending money on miniature, and you're like, oh crap, I completely put it together wrong, right? What's cool about Hardcore Miniatures is to have an assembly guide, and I didn't scroll through all those pictures, but if you did, you would see this right here. But I wanted to show this to you because they have an assembly guide, boom, ready to go, so you know how to put your miniatures together, because the bandoliers of rounds going across their chest, there's like different parts. And for this guy, obviously, there's a lot going on with this. That's probably the one thing I didn't like most about these miniatures, was there's so many parts, and they're very fiddly. But that being said, we're hobbyists, and we should be used to this by now. I had to use some tweezers here on this particular miniature, but all the rest of them were fine. I could use my fingers. But that's just kind of, it's really nitpicky on my part to kind of say that, and I'll agree, it is very nitpicky. But that's really the only thing I didn't like about these miniatures themselves. So they're $10 each, and let's check the shipping options too. So here's the checkout screen, and I put 5 of these in the cart, and it only goes up $2 to $11, which is kind of crazy. So it starts at $9, and let me tell you what, I ship a lot of stuff all over the globe. I can't ship nothing out of the US under 8 ounces for less than $13, and that's not even counting the envelope and the postage on it, first class mail. So that's kind of cool to see that they can ship stuff from Russia to here for $9. And if you get 5 figures, it only goes up like $2 to $11. So I feel like those postage rates are pretty good. It's cheaper than what I can do, you know, sending stuff out to folks on our Patreon. So that's pretty neat to see. And of course, you can sign up for a mailing list, check out, do all the things right here, just like you would normal retail. So site is pretty dope. Selection, definitely dope. Of course, they're out of the Jungle Fighters right now. Now let's take a look at the miniatures themselves. So first up, here's an idea of just how everything comes, you know, on sprue. It's really light, very crisp, detailed resin right here. If I had to guess, I would say it's smooth on, but I'm not 100% for sure. This was, I think, the pre-release set of Jungle Warriors. So it came with some extra accessories here, which they sell separately now, and all the legs, the torsos, and the heads. And there's a couple of different not Rambo heads as well over here that you can use depending on the pose you kind of want to go for. And then there's like some bandoliers with rounds on them too. And it's really hard to see the detail because, you know, the camera's not zoomed in quite yet, but I'm going to do that here in a second. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how they come. And then, you know, they're all in pretty good quality as far as, you know, everything's on the sprue as you would imagine, and it all just kind of makes sense. Now here, it's zoomed in a little bit. You can see way much more of the detail, and then when we get up close to the camera and it focuses in, boom, goes the dynamite. That is some crisp detail, and I really like how he did the little square sockets. I'm not sure I would have done square, maybe triangle. I don't know which one's better. And then you can see the muscles on that guy. I forget which body this goes to. Maybe this is Mr. Mohawk. I forget. I don't know. So many different ones, but definitely very well detailed. And here's a head. Get that in a focus. Come on, put me on a body, put me together. Come on. So very well detailed. No matter if you know, there's some torso showing or clothed. I think they're pretty cool, and I like the optional kind of gear on the legs here. You got some with knee pads, tactical knee pads, and some pouch, some tactical pants, and then just like whatever they got on right here. So, you know, sometimes it happens, some different guns. There's like this thing here with a little scope, and then you got some more, I guess, more salty type stuff. It's very futuristic and cool looking, I feel like. And then all the heads come super supported right there, and you can see a better idea of. There's not Rambo, Mr. Mohawk, and Mr. Escaper that we'll get them assembled here in a minute. Now, first up, assembled is the Escaper. Now, some of these we assembled a little different than what they might be on the website because, you know, you can have a little fun with it. So this guy obviously is not what you're going to see on the website. I don't think currently, but that's okay. I definitely think he's pretty cool, like at the ready. He's got his little bandolier on and getting ready to put some shots downrange, I guess. So he's got the eye patch and the hair and everything. I think it looks great. You know, size-wise, these guys are on a 32mm base. So, you know, when you compare them to Guardsmen, they are going to be a tad more chunkier, which is maybe what you want. And I mean, plastic-wise, comparing them to GW Plastics is fine. When you compare them to like something like the Forge Rolled Resins, like this Deathcore dude right here, they're going to be a little bit chunkier. I don't think they're out of scale whatsoever. I mean, there's a Primaris Marine, so that seems about right, because remember, he's kind of crouching down, so he would come up to his chest, give or take, I think, on that one. And then good old Mr. Mohawk right here. Up, and of course, I already broke it. Dang it. That was his little the little harness that goes at the bottom right here. Like I said, it was a little fiddly, but I appreciate the design and the attention to detail for sure. Those sockets go in right here, or those pegs go in right here, so it's a little precarious. If you get glue in there, you might have to re-drill it out, and I think that's what happened when I did it. But everything else locks together pretty well, like these little supporting straps right here onto the backpack. And then of course there's that look. Now I probably should have turned his head a little bit, but I wasn't thinking. But he looks great. I mean, I really like the shoulder pads. Or the knee pads, the tactical knee pads, tactical pants. Obviously, he's striking a pose right there and looks very cool. And the flamethrower is very realistic too. You know, turn it on with the little water faucet right there. And there's how he compares up to a Guardsman and Mr. Primaris as well. So very, Very cool. And next one is, I think this is the Wolf. Obviously a man that has had many facts and jokes made about him through the years, who needs no introduction right there. So looking, taking aim on something right there, looking pretty fresh, and he's got his Delta Force kind of style jacket on right there, and very neat. And then this one, I don't know if this is my favorite or Mr. Mohawk, but the styling of this is great. Got the heavy machine gun right there, and the bipod, the little handle, the reticule, the flip up reticule back there, and got some rounds just laying it down. Now this probably isn't the head that's supposed to be on here, but I think he's a little bit more serious, maybe in his posing. So I definitely like that one, and there's how he compares up to a guardsman as well. So very cool. And last but certainly not least, I don't know what his name is. We'll call him Bill. Probably Mr. Chopper. Definitely Mr. Chopper from his commando days right there. Got his rounds. I did a poor job on the back right there. I'll admit it. All right, call me on it. I definitely did a poor job, but he looks great as well. And some of the bottoms here are the same with the tactical, I think, but they're all styled a little bit differently. And of course, if you buy them separately, they'll come with all the parts. So there's no guesswork. And remember, there's a bunch of extra doodads like pistols and stick bombs, some grenades, some canteens, some pouches and things that you can put on these guys too, to kind of personalize them, and fit them into your army right there. So overall, I think for the most part, these are great miniatures, and for the price and the shipping, I don't think you can really go wrong with it. The ability to customize it and kind of add some plastic bits and things that you might have laying around, to kind of make them your own version of a commander or something like that. Like maybe just want it for the flamethrower, and throw a little gas mask head on there. You could. It'd be slightly out of scale, but there's some other ways to go about it and stuff. So make sure you head over to Hardcore Miniatures website. It's hardcore-miniatures.com. Of course, there'll be some links below in the comments and also the description field, and check them out today. Hopefully everything is back in stock and they're ready to roll by the time you see this video.